Hey all, so in this lecture we will see how to handle timers in Jmeter. Okay, so basically where the timers will come into picture. Now for example, you have some 50 users with which you are putting load on application. Okay, but in real time situation, not 50 users will simultaneously accept one request, right? So for example, you want to click on customer care link, fine. So it might be in 1 or 2 minutes there may be 50 users who are hitting that URL, but hit in on 1 second hitting 50 users is not accurate behavior, because very rarely it happens. So if that happens in 2-3 minutes, okay, then we can agree. You can say that customer care link is clicked 50 times in 60 seconds in 1 minute, fine. But customer care link is clicked 50 times in single second, that might not be a accurate, real time behavior. But still people go with that kind of situation to actually get the load and see how many bytes it is returning and how much time it's taking. But if you want to actually mimic some near to real time behavior, you can go ahead and put some sleep between each threads. Now for example, now if I am using 10 users, after completion of one user, you might go and put a sleep for 2-3 seconds. Okay, so for example, once you complete the end-to-end script, database will get update, right? Assume that you are posting a new transaction and posting or purchasing some item, and now currently there are 4 items of that product. Okay, so one guy went and purchased it, fine. So it might take a few seconds in database to update, so that that 4 count should come now down to 3, because one user got purchased. Okay, so if 4 people accessing at a time, then there might be cause of actually getting a proper data. So in these situations you want to put a load, but with a kind of just space, what you say, kind of gap, sleep between the two threads. Okay, so if I run for 10 threads, after running a single thread, you have to take a 2 or 3 seconds time to start the other thread, so that database will get updated properly within just minute seconds, and you are good to go with another thread. Okay, in as I told you, timers will not be used much in actual load testing, because people go in general with this kind of data putting load together and they get the metrics. But there are situations where we are forced to put a sleep, as database is taking few seconds to get update. Okay, in such a case, how to make your thread sleep for 2-3 seconds, that is the challenge there, fine. So until unless you work, you cannot understand where exactly you need to go with timers. So it all depends upon application specifics. In some cases you need to go with that because of code written at the back end, fine. So let's write a one normal script, and we'll put a timer, and we'll see in the results how much gap, how many seconds it is waiting before the other thread starts. Okay, so yeah, let me record the script 7070, and let me go with record controller itself, put it, group in a new controller, add suggested excludes, and start. Yeah, so go back to Firefox and hit this URL again, fine. So this time I log in into the application, fine. I click on flights, and yeah, continue. Let's continue with this. Okay, and finally we get a page saying thank you for booking through web tours. Okay, this is the confirmation page. So I'll go and stop the recording now. Okay, so is it recorded? It seems there are only, okay, we got it here. Now I'll create a thread group, add thread group, and I'll cut this both from here and I paste it in my thread group so that we can execute it, right? So let me add, this time we'll go with a listener called view results in a table, because we need to watch the start time and stop time, right? So this will be the sufficient one. Okay, so yeah, I guess we can run this now and see. Let's say timers. Okay, 15, 17, and again 15 you need to see. Oh, let me start with few more threads, then only I'll understand, right? So one user, let's go with 10 times. Okay, let it loop for 10 times. That would be, okay. Run them again, and now we can see 15, and again this is the second time it started. Okay, this is second loop. Calculate the time here, 15th minute to second, and 15th minute 6th second. Okay, sorry, it's basically 15th hour, 15th hour 2 seconds. First thread started, second thread started at, where is that, here at 6 seconds, because same request started again. That means one loop is done. So second, 6 seconds, totally 4 seconds it taken for execution. Until 6th second it was still processing the first request only. Immediately it started a second request. Okay, and now for example assume that when there is a product with the 4 items, at this moment at 6th second 5/60th millisecond product got sold. So immediately within 10 milliseconds one other guy came and trying to access it. So if there is a database loophole where it takes 3 to 4 seconds, and within that time this guy again started, and for him also it shows as a 4, because database is taking still to update there. Okay, and then if we try to access the same 4 number, somewhere the script will start failing. Fine. So in that case, no, I'm just giving a situation when you come across this kind of situation in your application, when you are testing on performance, then you can just put a sleep. Fine. Now if you feel that putting a 3-second sleep will work, then we'll select. Okay, now you just note down the time. Right now at second, and next it says 6th second. So totally 4 seconds gap between. Okay, 4 seconds took to complete each thread. So if you put the timer now, 4 plus the sleep time whatever you give, that much duration will be there between the two requests. Okay, don't confuse that it's already taking 4 seconds. This 4 seconds is to run the first thread. Immediately it started the second thread. Okay, there is no gap at all. To actually to make you realize, if I add a few sleep here with 3 seconds, now 4 plus 3, total 7 seconds time should be taken between the each thread. Let's add timer now. Right click, add, click on timer, and these are different timers available for us: constant, Gaussian random, Poisson random. These are based upon calculations. Okay, I'll explain you one by picking Gaussian random timer, then you will understand what all this about. So let's go with a constant timer first, and it says by default it has given us thread delay 300 milliseconds. That means 3 seconds. Basically it delays for 3 seconds for execution. Fine, 300 milliseconds. Then let's keep 300 milliseconds thread delay, and let's start the script again. Let it be fine. Place it at the end or at the top. Make it a first, so that once this thread loop is completed, control will come here and it wait for 300 milliseconds and then starts execution. Okay, so let me delete this as well, and I'll run it again. Okay, so 54th, and you can see that earlier it was 4 and now it was 7. Got it? Right, you can see that 54th second and 2, you can get approximately 8. So 4 seconds for completing the thread, and thereafter it took this 300 milliseconds to finish up the rest execution. So that's the time gap you can observe between the previous thread and now. If you delete it again, this will be reduced. Okay, click on remove, uh, run it again. Fifteen 57th second, and yeah, see that this now again it's 4 seconds only. 57 at first second, at 3.54 seconds only it has taken. Earlier it was 7 because we have deleted constant timer. Got it? So that's how you can check the timers between each thread. So you're just putting a pause for a mild few milliseconds to make application stable. Fine. So next thread what you can see here is next timer is Gaussian random timer. So this is basically 300 milliseconds is a constant, and this deviation alters for every thread. For example, if you provide total thread to run for 10 times, for second thread it might take 50 seconds. That means 300 plus 50, it takes 350 seconds, and next time it might take 70 seconds. So this is constant, and the value this will be changed between 0 to 100. One time it may take 300 plus 10 310, next time it might take 50 350. Every time you add this 300, this is the constant delay. Thereafter this is the deviation, will keep on changing. This is the random number. Okay, so basically here we are, rather than giving a constant timer, we are just putting a random value 20 30. This will deviate, but this is a constant. It's up to you. If you want to go with this timer by putting a random sleep, you can go with Gaussian random timer. If you want a constant timer, if you want to use, then just go with the constant timer. There are still the other timers available here. You can see Poisson random timer, which we have their own kind of definition for it, and there is some calculation, lambda calculation, with which it will actually get the sleep 300 plus with some formula. You can get that it might be 320 340. You can see what Poisson formula you have to get this output. Okay, I'm not that good at maths to say you what Poisson value it gives. So it's all, ultimately it's end up with a calculation and gives us a timer, what how many seconds you need. It's a constant or Gaussian random or Poisson or whatever it may be. Fine. So that's how you can put a sleep between the threads and mimic the original behavior of your application. But as I said you, this will not be used much in practical, but still people will go with this if they have any dependencies with their application. Fine. So that's it about the timers, and we have one more timer called constant throughput timer, which we will see in the coming session. Thank you.